Listen to me carefully. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in a single day, but they massively underestimate what they can transform in just 6 months. 6 months. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How you can completely reinvent your life in the next 180 days. And before you think this is just another motivational speech, let me tell you something. I've studied thousands of success stories, analyzed the patterns of breakthrough achievements, and discovered something fascinating. The people who create extraordinary transformations don't do it by accident. They follow specific principles, and they understand the science behind change. Today, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that separates those who dream about change from those who actually create it. So, why 6 months? Why not a year? Why not a month? Let me break this down for you. A year feels too distant. Your brain can't maintain focus on something that far away. You lose urgency. You procrastinate. A month is too short to see meaningful transformation. But 6 months, that's the sweet spot. It's what I call realistic urgency. Here's what the science tells us. Your brain needs between 66 to 254 days to form a habit completely. 6 months gives you exactly the time you need to rewire your neural pathways. It's also perfectly aligned with human psychology. 6 months equals 2 seasons, which matches our natural adaptation cycles. Think about it this way. If you improve just 1% every single day for 180 days, you become 6 times better than when you started. That's not just improvement, that's complete transformation. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. 6 months is going to pass whether you take action or not. The question isn't whether time will pass. The question is where you want to be when those 6 months are over. Let me share with you the 15 principles that will make these next 6 months the most transformative period of your life. Principle 1. Clarity is power. The first principle is clarity is power. Here's the brutal truth. Fuzzy goals create fuzzy results. Sharp goals create sharp results. Most people say things like, I want to be healthier, or I want to be happier. That's not a goal, that's a wish. Your brain doesn't know what to do with wishes. Let me give you a real example from the summary. Here's the difference between fuzzy and clear. Fuzzy goal, I want to be healthier. Problem, this sounds good, but it's too general. How do you measure it? How do you know when you've achieved it? Clear goal. In the next 3 months, I will work out 4 times per week, eat 200 fewer calories daily, and lose 5 kilograms. This is specific, has numbers, has a deadline. Your brain knows exactly what needs to be done, making it much easier to focus. See the difference. The first statement is vague and unmeasurable. The second is specific, has numbers, has a deadline. Your brain knows exactly what needs to be done. Here's what happens when you get crystal clear. Your reticular activating system, that's the part of your brain that filters information, suddenly starts noticing opportunities that align with your specific goals. It's like buying a red car and then seeing red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now your brain is programmed to notice them. This isn't just theory. When your brain has a specific target, it becomes incredibly efficient at allocating energy and attention toward that target. Vague goals scatter your mental resources. Clear goals concentrate them like a laser beam. Tonight, I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down exactly what you want your life to look like 6 months from today. Don't write, I want to be successful. Write, I want to increase my income by 40%. Read 12 books, start my own side business, and build a network of 50 professional contacts. Be ruthlessly specific. Include numbers, dates, and measurable outcomes. Your future self will thank you for this clarity. Clarity is power. When you're crystal clear about what you want, the universe has an interesting way of helping you get it. Principle 2, Philosophy for Living. The second principle is philosophy for living. Your philosophy determines how you process everything that happens to you. It's not what happens that shapes your future. It's what you do about what happens. Success isn't magical or mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. But here's the challenge. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. It's easy to read 10 pages of a good book every day. It's also easy not to. It's easy to save 10% of your income. It's also easy not to. It's easy to exercise for 30 minutes. It's also easy not to. The small, simple things we do daily, reading a few pages, walking for 15 minutes, saving $1, seem insignificant in the moment, but they're actually the building blocks of our destiny. The difference between successful people and those who struggle isn't that successful people know more. It's that they consistently practice simple disciplines that most people overlook. Let me tell you about Sarah and Ben from our summary. Both understood the importance of saving money. Sarah decided to save just $5 every single day into her savings fund. Ben knew saving was good, but thought $5 doesn't matter much, and skipped it daily. After 1 year, Sarah had $1,825. After 10 years, she had over $18,000, not including interest. Ben had nothing. The difference wasn't knowledge. They both knew saving was important. The difference was philosophy. Sarah believed in doing simple things consistently. Ben believed small actions didn't matter. A strong life philosophy acts as your compass, helping you avoid being swept away by temporary emotions or external circumstances. It's what keeps you grounded when the world around you is chaotic. Your philosophy becomes your reality. If you believe small actions compound into big results, you'll take small actions. If you believe only big dramatic changes matter, you'll wait for the perfect moment that never comes. Here's what I want you to understand. Those small, simple things you do every day, they seem insignificant in the moment, but they're actually designing your destiny. Your daily philosophy in action becomes your life philosophy in results. Principle 3. Circle of Influence. The third principle is circle of influence. Jim Rohn said it best. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But it's deeper than that. In today's world, you're also the average of the 5 books you read, the 5 podcasts you listen to, the 5 social media accounts you follow most. Your environment has more influence than you realize. There are 2 types of people in this world, those who inspire you and those who tire you. Your job over the next 6 months is to increase your exposure to people who inspire you and decrease your exposure to those who tire you. Here's what I call the principle of borrowed belief. When you spend time around people with bigger thinking, you start to borrow their vision and confidence until it becomes your own. Success leaves clues, and the fastest way to shorten your learning curve is to observe and learn the habits, thinking patterns, and strategies from people who have already achieved what you want. Let me give you a concrete example from our research. Many startup founders in Silicon Valley deliberately hang out at cafes and co-working spaces with people who have already raised millions in funding. They observe how these successful entrepreneurs pitch their ideas, network with investors, and manage their teams. Then they copy and apply these strategies, shortening their learning curve by years instead of trying to figure everything out through trial and error. Environment shapes thinking. You will think, act, and achieve results similar to the environment you're consistently exposed to. This is why it's crucial to be intentional about who and what influences you daily. You don't have to physically move to Silicon Valley. You can create your own success environment. Follow 100 successful people online instead of people who just complain. Listen to interviews with industry leaders instead of gossip. Read biographies of people who've achieved what you want to achieve instead of consuming mindless entertainment. But here's the key. You also need to audit your current circle. Apply the 80-20 principle of relationship filtering. You don't need to completely cut people out, but you should allocate your energy wisely. Spend 80% of your time with people who lift you up and only 20% with those you're obligated to maintain relationships with. Remember, your environment is stronger than your willpower. Change your environment and you change your life. The people and influences you expose yourself to daily are quietly shaping who you become. Principle 4. The power of writing it down. The fourth principle is the power of writing it down. You must become a serious student of your own life. Every time you read something powerful, every time you have an insight, every time you learn something valuable, write it down. But don't just copy it. Make it yours. When you encounter something meaningful, don't just write down what you read. Write down what resonated with you personally. Connect it to real situations in your work or life. Summarize it into concrete action steps you can take. This practice serves 3 crucial purposes. First, you remember 60 to 70% more than if you just read passively. The act of writing engages different parts of your brain and creates stronger neural pathways. Second, you create a personal knowledge library you can return to anytime. This becomes your customized wisdom collection. Third, you transform learning into action, preventing knowledge from dying on the page. You become someone who applies wisdom, not just collects it. Let me give you a practical example. If you read just 10 pages of a good book every day, in 6 months, you'll have read 1,800 pages. That's approximately 6 to 7 books. Do you think your life would be different if you absorbed the wisdom from 7 carefully chosen books? Of course it would. But here's what most people don't realize. Reading isn't enough. You need to process what you read. You need to take notes. You need to apply the insights. Without documentation, you're just entertaining yourself with other people's ideas instead of building your own wisdom. The goal is to help you remember longer, create your own knowledge treasury, and transform learning into action rather than letting knowledge remain dormant. This discipline of documentation transforms you from a knowledge consumer into a knowledge owner and applier. Think of it this way. Every book you read with intentional note-taking is like adding another mentor to your brain. Over 6 months, you're building a personal board of advisors in your mind. Principle 5. The best investment, you. The fifth principle is the best investment, you. Jim Rohn said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." Here's something that fascinates me. People will spend $100 on dinner without thinking twice, but they hesitate to spend $100 on a book or course that could change their life. Think about this. $100 for dinner satisfies you for a few hours, and then it's gone forever. $100 for education and skills opens opportunities to multiply your income by 10x or 100x in the future. The ROI isn't even comparable. The return on investment in yourself is literally unlimited. A $1,000 course that teaches you a skill worth an additional $100,000 annually gives you a 10,000% return. No stock market investment can match that kind of return on investment. Here's what I want you to do. Calculate how much you've invested in your own development in the past year. Include books, courses, seminars, coaching, anything that improved your knowledge or skills. Then calculate how much you've spent on entertainment, dining out, and things that provided only temporary satisfaction. I'm not saying don't enjoy life. I'm saying be intentional about the balance. Every dollar you invest in developing yourself pays dividends for the rest of your life. Every dollar spent on temporary pleasures is gone forever. Over the next 6 months, commit to investing in yourself, whether it's books, courses, seminars, or coaching. Make self-education a non-negotiable budget item, just like rent or food. If someone is going where you want to go, they know something you don't know. Invest in learning what they know. If there's a skill that could transform your career, invest in developing that skill. If there's knowledge that could change your life, invest in acquiring that knowledge. Your formal education gave you the basics to make a living. Your self-education will give you the advanced skills to make a fortune. The question is, are you willing to invest in your own potential? Principle 6. The magic of small wins. The 6th principle is the magic of small wins. Small improvements, sustained over time, create massive results. Most people wait to do something big. They're waiting for the perfect moment to make a dramatic change. But success doesn't work that way. Success is built on 1,000 tiny decisions made correctly day after day. Here's the magic. If you get just 1% better every single day, you're not just 365% better at the end of the year. Because of compounding, you're actually 37 times better. Let me give you a concrete example. If you decide to learn 5 new vocabulary words every day, after 6 months, you'll know 900 new words. If you started with a vocabulary of 1,000 words, you've nearly doubled your word knowledge in just 6 months. This improvement in vocabulary dramatically enhances your speaking, writing, and comprehension abilities. The key is this. Small actions maintained consistently create identity shifts. You don't just become someone who occasionally develops themselves. You become someone who constantly develops themselves. This is what separates champions from everyone else. Champions understand that winning happens in the small moments when nobody's watching. It happens in the decision to do the right thing when it's easy to do the wrong thing. Start ridiculously small. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Principle 7. From goals to gains. The 7th principle is from goals to gains. Most people set goals that are too small. They set goals based on what they think they can achieve instead of what they truly want. Over the next 6 months, I want you to set goals that scare you a little bit. If your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. But here's the key. Break these big goals down into daily activities. Let me share a story. A person wanted to open their own coffee shop. Instead of just dreaming about it, they broke it down. This week, research different coffee shop business models. Next month, take a barista course. Following months, save a specific amount each month. Continue learning about business operations, supplier relationships, location scouting. After 1 to 2 years, their dream of opening a coffee shop became reality. Success isn't about what you do occasionally, it's about what you do consistently. Your daily actions should be stepping stones toward your bigger vision. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Focus on building systems that automatically move you toward your objectives. Principle 8. Raise your standards. The 8th principle is raise your standards. Your life doesn't operate according to what you want. It operates according to the minimum standards you're willing to accept. People with low standards easily compromise, easily give up, easily get swept along by circumstances. People with high standards force themselves and their environment to rise to meet those standards. Here's how this shows up in real life. In relationships, low standard, I guess this is good enough. High standard, I deserve a partner who supports my growth and shares my values. In income, low standard, I'm comfortable with getting by. High standard, I won't accept earning less than X amount per year, so I need to develop skills and find opportunities to reach that level. In health, low standard, I'll exercise when I feel like it. High standard, I work out 4 times per week, no exceptions, because my health is non-negotiable. When you raise your standards, something amazing happens. You start making decisions that align with those standards. You start attracting opportunities that match those standards. You start becoming the person who naturally operates at that level. Your standards become your destiny. Raise them carefully, but raise them consistently. Principle 9. Rituals that win. The 9th principle is rituals that win. Your life isn't shaped by what you do occasionally, it's shaped by what you do consistently. Daily rituals are like the backbone that creates structure for your life. They shape your habits, your thinking, and ultimately the results you achieve. Most successful people have 2 to 3 non-negotiable daily rituals. For many, it starts with how they begin their day. Here's a simple but powerful morning ritual that can transform your life. Wake up 1 hour earlier every day. That's 180 extra hours over 6 months, equivalent to 4.5 weeks of 40-hour work weeks. Think about what you could accomplish with an extra 180 hours of focused time. Use that hour for 10 minutes of silence or meditation, 15 minutes of journaling or planning, 20 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of physical movement. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Even if you only do this 5 days a week, you're still creating massive positive changes in your life. Remember, how you start your day determines how you live your day. Win your morning, and you win your life. Principle 10. Power of accountability. The 10th principle is power of accountability. When you're accountable to someone, your performance improves dramatically. Here's a fascinating aspect of human psychology. We'll do more to avoid letting others down than we'll do to lift ourselves up. Use this to your advantage. Research shows that when people are being observed, their performance improves by 20 to 40%. When people make public commitments, their success rate increases by 65%. When people have coaches or accountability partners, they achieve their goals 70% more often. Here's how to apply this. Find an accountability partner, someone who's also committed to growth. Meet weekly to share your progress, challenges, and commitments for the following week. Join or create a mastermind group where people support each other's goals and hold each other accountable. Make public commitments on social media or to friends and family about specific goals you're working toward. The key is creating positive pressure. When you know someone is counting on you to follow through, you're much more likely to do so. Principle 11. Focus drives results. The 11th principle is focus drives results. Where focus goes, energy flows. In our hyper-connected world, the average person checks their phone 150 times per day. That's constant focus fragmentation. Meanwhile, research shows that 4 hours of focused work produces more results than 8 hours of distracted work. Here's what I've learned from studying highly successful people. They don't try to do everything. They identify the 20% of activities that produce 80% of their results, and they focus relentlessly on those activities. Steve Jobs once said, Focus is about saying no. Apple didn't become successful by making hundreds of products. They became successful by making a few products extraordinarily well. Over the next 6 months, you need to become ruthless about protecting your focus. This means eliminating or minimizing activities that don't move you toward your goals, creating blocks of uninterrupted time for your most important work, learning to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. Remember, don't major in minor things. Don't confuse being busy with being productive. Focus on what matters most and let everything else go. Principle 12. Celebrate the wins. The 12th principle is celebrate the wins. Don't wait until you reach your final goal to celebrate. Celebrate progress, not just achievements. Here's what neuroscience tells us. Celebrating small wins releases dopamine, which is your brain's motivation fuel. When you celebrate progress, you're literally programming your brain to want more progress. Harvard Business School research found that feeling progress is the #1 motivator for continued effort. People who celebrate small victories are more likely to persist through challenges and ultimately achieve their bigger goals. Here's how to apply this. If you set a goal to read 12 books this year, celebrate every time you finish one book instead of waiting until you've read all 12. If you're working toward a fitness goal, celebrate every workout, every healthy meal choice, every pound lost. Create celebration triggers every 2 weeks. These don't have to be expensive or elaborate. They just need to acknowledge your progress and reinforce your commitment to continued growth. When you celebrate the journey, the destination becomes more achievable and more enjoyable. Principle 13. Give to grow. The 13th principle is give to grow. Success without contribution is empty achievement. When you contribute, you don't just give. You also learn new skills, expand your network, and increase your own value. The most successful people balance what they achieve for themselves with what they bring to others. Contribution creates meaning and connection with community, helping you feel you belong to something bigger than yourself. When you contribute, you develop new capabilities, expand your network, and elevate your personal value. Let me share an example. After selling his startup for millions, an entrepreneur opened a scholarship fund for underprivileged students. This didn't just help those students, it gave his success deeper meaning and connected him with a community of other philanthropists and educators. Here's what I want you to understand. The more value you create for others, the more valuable you become. It's not just about what you can get. It's about what you can give. Over the next 6 months, look for ways to add value to others' lives. Share your knowledge, mentor someone, volunteer your skills, help others solve problems you've already solved. True success isn't just about what you accumulate, it's about what you contribute. Principle 14. Power of decisiveness. The 14th principle is power of decisiveness. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Decisive people don't waste time in hesitation, allowing them to seize opportunities before they disappear. Every decision you make today shapes your tomorrow. Let me give you an example. Steve Jobs made the quick decision to eliminate the keyboard from the iPhone, a decision that went against industry trends at the time but changed the entire mobile industry. Here's what happens when you become decisive. You stop missing opportunities while you're thinking about them. You build momentum. You gain confidence in your judgment. You start attracting other decisive people who can help you succeed. Indecisive people live in a constant state of what if and maybe tomorrow. Decisive people live in a state of let's find out and let's make it happen. Over the next 6 months, practice making decisions quickly, not recklessly, but without endless deliberation. Gather the information you need, trust your judgment, and move forward. Remember, a good decision made quickly is usually better than a perfect decision made too late. Principle 15. Power of gratitude. The 15th and final principle is power of gratitude. This might be the most powerful transformation tool you'll ever discover. Here's what I want you to do. Starting tonight, write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. That's 540 moments of gratitude over the next 6 months. Gratitude helps reshape how we see life. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we focus on what we have. When you're grateful, you easily create positive energy, which attracts more good opportunities. Oprah Winfrey shares that keeping a gratitude journal was one of the biggest keys to maintaining balance and feeling fulfilled, even during her busiest periods. But here's what makes gratitude so powerful. What you appreciate appreciates. When you focus on the good things in your life with genuine appreciation, you tend to notice more good things. It's like training your brain to be a magnet for positive experiences. Let me give you a simple formula. Every night, write down 3 achievements from that day, 2 lessons you learned, and 1 thing you're excited about for tomorrow. This practice rewires your brain for positivity and opportunity recognition. It helps you end each day feeling accomplished and start each morning feeling optimistic. Your transformation starts now. These 15 principles aren't just concepts to think about, they're a blueprint for complete life transformation. But knowledge without action is worthless. Information without implementation is just entertainment. Here's what I want you to understand. 6 months from now, you will surely arrive. The question is where? That answer depends entirely on the decisions you make today and the actions you take starting tomorrow. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is found in your daily routine. Success isn't about dramatic gestures or perfect moments. It's about consistent small actions that compound over time. Most people will hear these principles and do nothing. They'll nod their heads, think, "That makes sense," and then go back to their old patterns. Don't be most people. A small percentage will actually implement these principles. They'll start writing clear goals. They'll upgrade their philosophy. They'll change their environment. They'll invest in themselves. They'll build better rituals. Those are the people who will look back 6 months from now and barely recognize the person they used to be. Those are the people who will have stories of transformation, not stories of regret. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And today, right here, right now, you have the opportunity to make changes that will completely transform your life over the next 6 months. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take this moment and make it perfect. Don't wait for motivation. Take action and let motivation follow. Don't wait for conditions to improve. Improve your response to conditions. Remember, everything you need to create an extraordinary life is within your reach. The knowledge is available. The strategies are proven. The opportunities are endless. The only question is, are you ready to begin? 6 months is going to pass whether you take action or not. The only question is where you want to be when those 6 months are over. Start today. Start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, take one principle, apply it today, then tomorrow, apply it again and again until it becomes part of who you are. Your transformation doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you decide you're ready. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today, and today you've taken the first step toward that preparation. Now go forth and make these next 6 months the most transformative, productive, and meaningful 6 months of your entire life. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Don't let them down. Thank you, and remember, your transformation starts now.
Have you ever set a big goal but gave up after just a few days? I think your answer is yes. Because I was like that too. Actually, many people are like that. We all start with excitement and strong motivation, but somehow, life gets busy and our energy slowly fades away. When the new year starts, you say, "This year, I'll go to the gym every day." In the first week, you go often. In the second week, you feel tired. By the third week, you forget completely. Or maybe you say, "I'm going to learn a new language really well." You buy books, download apps, watch videos, but 1 month later, everything is still there, covered in dust. Maybe you even wanted to start a business. You had big dreams, made plans, but after a few weeks you stopped. Life got busy. You got tired. You lost motivation. Why does this happen? Because the goals are too big, too perfect, too scary. Your brain looks at the goal and says, "Oh no, that's too hard," and then you give up. When you try to change everything at once, your brain feels tired and lost. It's like trying to climb a tall mountain in one day. That's impossible, right? But what if I tell you this? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be 1% better every day. Just 1%. It sounds small, maybe even too small, but it can change your whole life. Today, we'll talk about the power of 1%, how small actions can make you 37 times better in 1 year, how to build habits without stress, and how to reach your dreams step by step with confidence, patience, and a clear sense of purpose every single day. Think about it. What if you could change your life without pressure, without fear, and without feeling like you're failing? That's exactly what the 1% method can help you do. It teaches you to focus on small wins, to grow steadily, and to build lasting change that feels natural and joyful every single day. Are you ready? Let's begin. What does 1% better every day mean? This idea comes from a famous book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a best-selling book about how small habits can change your life. James Clear said something amazing. If you get 1% better every day for 1 year, you will be 37 times better than when you started. Let's say that again, 37 times better. How is that possible? It's because of something called the compound effect. It works just like money in the bank. Every small improvement adds to the one before it. Day by day, your progress grows and keeps growing. Let's see it in a simple way. If you try to be 1% better every day, your progress slowly grows, like a small snowball rolling down a hill. It starts tiny, but every day it gets a little bigger, and after 1 year, that small snowball becomes a big one. You become much stronger, smarter, and more confident than when you started. Imagine someone who studies a new language for just 10 minutes every day. Only 10 minutes. That's even shorter than one episode of a TV show. You probably spend more time scrolling on your phone. At first, 10 minutes feels like nothing. You might think, what can 10 minutes really do? But look at what happens over time. After 1 month, that's 5 hours of learning. After 6 months, 30 hours. After 1 year, 60 hours. And after 1 year, that person can understand much more than before. They can watch movies without subtitles, talk to foreign friends, read short books, and even write emails confidently, all because of 10 minutes a day. I know someone like that. Her name is Lucy. She worked at a bank and was always busy. She used to say, "I don't have time to learn a language." But one day she decided, "I can find 10 minutes." So, every lunch break, she studied for 10 minutes. Some days she watched short videos. Some days she read articles. Some days she just repeated 10 new words. After 1 year, her boss asked her to join an international meeting. Lucy was nervous, but she understood everything. She spoke clearly and surprised everyone in the room. Later, she told me, "I didn't do anything special. I just showed up every day for 10 minutes." And there was a man named David. He was 40 years old, had a big belly, and felt tired all the time. One day, his doctor said, "David, you need to exercise." At first, David thought he had to go to the gym for 2 hours every day, but he was too busy and too tired. So he decided to start small, just 10 minutes a day. Some days he did push-ups, some days he ran around his house, and some days he only stretched. Even when he felt exhausted, he never skipped a day. After 1 month, he saw no big change. After 3 months, he felt more energetic. After 6 months, he lost 8 kilograms and felt stronger than ever. When his friends asked, "What's your secret?" David smiled and said, "No secret. Just 10 minutes every day." That small habit changed his life. You know what's interesting? When we see successful people, we think they became successful suddenly. We think, "Wow, they're so lucky. They became famous overnight." But that's not true. Every overnight success actually took years of small daily improvements that nobody saw. The writer J.K. Rowling wrote Harry Potter. Today, she's one of the richest authors in the world. But did you know she wrote for 7 years before her book was published? She wrote a little bit every day in a cafe while her baby slept. Many publishers said no to her book. 12 publishers rejected Harry Potter, but she kept writing. She kept improving, 1% better every day, and then one day, the world noticed. The same is true for actors, athletes, musicians, and entrepreneurs. They all worked in the dark for years. Nobody saw them, nobody knew their names, but they showed up every day. They practiced every day. They improved 1% every day, and then, suddenly, they were overnight successes. And the biggest thing I want you to remember, success isn't built in a single day. It's built day by day. Why small improvements beat big goals. 1. The all-or-nothing mindset, the enemy of progress. Many people have this thought. Either I do it perfectly or I don't do it at all. This is called the all-or-nothing mindset. And it's the biggest enemy of progress. Let me give you an example. Maybe you wanted to start running. You think, real runners run 5 kilometers every morning, so I need to run 5 kilometers too. Day 1. You wake up early, you run 5 kilometers, you feel proud, you feel like a champion. Day 2. You wake up, your legs hurt, your body is sore, but you think, real runners don't give up. I must run 5 kilometers again. So you run, but it's painful. Day 3. You are too tired, you can barely walk, but you think, if I can't run 5 kilometers, then I'm a failure. If I can't do it perfectly, why do it at all? And then you stop completely. You never run again. This happens to so many people. They start with 100% energy. They try to do everything perfectly, then they burn out, then they quit. The problem isn't that you are weak. The problem isn't that you are lazy. The problem is that you tried to do too much, too fast. It's like trying to eat an entire elephant in one bite. Impossible, right? But if you take one small bite every day, eventually you will finish the whole elephant. So why do we keep waiting for the perfect moment? It's because of the all-or-nothing mindset makes us wait for the perfect moment. We say, I will start exercising when I have more time. I will learn English when I have more money for classes. I will start my business when I have the perfect idea. I will start eating healthy when I finish this project. We wait for the right time. We wait for the right conditions. We wait until we have enough of something. But guess what? The perfect moment never comes. There will always be something. You will always be busy. You will always have excuses. Life will always be complicated. Successful people are different. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They start before they feel ready. They do something small today, even if it's not perfect. Do you know Keanu Reeves? He's a famous actor. He was in movies like The Matrix and John Wick. Today, everyone loves Keanu Reeves. He's successful, he's rich, he's respected. But his life wasn't always easy. When he was young, his father left the family. He moved many times. He changed schools many times. He had no stability. When he wanted to become an actor, many people said, "You are not handsome enough. You are not talented enough. You should do something else." He faced many rejections, many failures, and many disappointments. There were times when he felt lost. But Keanu never gave up. He didn't wait for the perfect moment. He didn't wait until everything was perfect in his life. He just took small steps every day. He went to auditions even when he was scared. He practiced acting even when he was sad. He worked hard even when people doubted him. Keanu said something beautiful. Sometimes simple acts are more powerful than perfect plans. He didn't have a perfect plan. He didn't have a perfect life. He just showed up every day and did his best. Today, Keanu Reeves is famous not just for his movies, but for his character. He is humble. He is kind. He helps people. He doesn't show off his success. He is a symbol of quiet confidence and consistency. And the lesson? Don't wait until you are ready. Because if you wait until you're ready, you will wait forever. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to start. Start small. Start today. 2. Why 1% improvement is better than big goals. When you set a goal that's too big, your brain feels overwhelmed. For example, I must change my whole life in 30 days. Your brain thinks, this is impossible. This is too much work, and you feel stressed before you even start. You feel like a failure before you even begin. But with 1% improvement every day, everything changes. It's small, so it's easy to do. There's no pressure. You are not afraid to make mistakes. Every small action creates positive momentum. You feel successful every single day. Let me show you the difference with real examples. Big goal. I must lose 10 kilograms in 2 months. 1% improvement. I will walk for 15 minutes every day. Big goal. I must speak English like a native speaker. 1% improvement. I will say one English sentence every morning. Big goal. I must read 50 books this year. 1% improvement. I will read one page every night before sleep. Big goal. I must make $1 million this year. 1% improvement. I will learn one new skill about business every day. Big goal. I must get perfect grades in all my classes. 1% improvement. I will study for 20 minutes every day without distractions. And do you see the difference? The 1% version is so small that you can't say no. There's no excuse. Even on your worst day, you can do it. And here's the beautiful part. Once you start, you naturally want to do more. Which one sounds easier? Which one can you do today? The answer is obvious, right? Third, the compound effect. Think about compound interest in a bank. If you save a little money every month, after many years, you become rich. Not because you saved a lot at once, but because you saved consistently. The interest grows, the money multiplies, small amounts become large amounts. Life is the same. Every small action you take today adds up to a better version of you tomorrow. One powerful example of this is Kobe Bryant. Do you know him? His story shows that consistency beats talent. Kobe Bryant was one of the greatest basketball players in history. He won 5 NBA championships and scored more than 33,000 points in his career. How did he become so good? He woke up at 4 a.m. every single day to practice. Every day. No excuses, no days off. Even when he was already famous and rich, he still woke up at 4 a.m. Even when other players were sleeping, Kobe was practicing. Other players asked him, "Kobe, why do you practice so much? You are already the best. You can rest now." He said, "Because I want to be better than yesterday. And because somewhere in the world, another player is practicing right now. If I rest, he will catch up to me." Kobe understood that talent isn't enough. Talent is just the starting point. What matters is daily improvement. He said something powerful. Everything negative, pressure, challenges, is all an opportunity for me to rise. When Kobe was injured, did he stop? No. He couldn't play basketball, so he studied the game. He watched videos. He learned strategies. He improved his mind while his body healed. 1% improvement. Even when you can't do the main thing, you do something related. Kobe Bryant's story shows us how consistency beats talent. But the compound effect isn't just about sports. It's a principle that works in every area of life. Let me tell you a story about Emma Watson. She is the actress who played Hermione in Harry Potter, and now she is a UN Women Goodwill Ambassador. She speaks at global conferences and stands in front of world leaders. But in the beginning, Emma wasn't always confident. She used to feel nervous when speaking in public. She once said she felt terrified before her UN speech. She could have said, "I'm just not good at public speaking. That's not me." But she didn't. She decided to improve 1% at a time. She didn't let fear stop her. She prepared carefully, practiced her message, and reminded herself why it mattered. She told, "If not me, who? If not now, when?" Today, she speaks with calm strength, not because she was never afraid, but because she learned to speak. Every time she improved just a little bit. Today, Emma Watson speaks confidently in front of the whole world. She gives powerful speeches about equality and education. She inspires millions of people, all because of tiny improvements every day. She once said, "I don't want the fear of failure to stop me from doing what I really care about." That's the mindset of someone who understands 1% improvement. She wasn't perfect. She was scared. But she did it anyway, one small step at a time. The power of consistency over intensity. Here's something important to understand. Consistency beats intensity every time. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. Big actions done once create no results. James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means your goals don't matter. What matters is what you do every day, your daily system. If your system is 1% better every day, you will eventually reach any goal." How to build your 1% habit. Now you understand why 1% matters. You see how small steps can beat big goals. You see how little actions, repeated every day, can change everything over time. That's the power of the compound effect. Small things that grow bigger and stronger with time. Maybe you're asking, how can I really do this in my own life? How can I build these small habits and make them stay? Because it's easy to start something new, but it's hard to keep going. We all know that feeling. You begin with excitement, but after a few days, the energy disappears. The truth is, building a habit isn't about being strong or perfect. It's about being smart. You need a simple plan with small actions that are easy to start, easy to repeat, and hard to forget. So in this next part, I'll share 4 powerful strategies that really work. These are not big or complicated ideas. They are small, practical steps you can start using today to make your habits last and to help you become 1% better every single day. 1. Start tiny. When people decide to change their lives, they often start too big. They make big plans, set big goals, and dream of fast results. But that's exactly why most people fail. They try to do too much at once. They say, "I'll exercise for 1 hour every day." But after 3 days, they're too tired. They say, "I'll read 1 book every week." But after 2 weeks, the book stays on the table, collecting dust. They say, "I'll learn 50 new English words every day." But after a few days, they give up. It's too hard to keep up. The problem isn't that people are lazy. The problem is that they start too big. When something feels big, your brain feels scared. It tells you, "This is too hard, maybe later." And later often means never. So what should you do instead? Start incredibly small, smaller than you think. Your goal is not to do something big. Your goal is to show up every day, no matter what. Start with 5 push-ups. Read 1 page before bed. Learn 3 new words in the morning. Write 50 words in your journal. Walk for 5 minutes after dinner. Drink 1 more glass of water each day. It sounds simple, maybe even too simple, but that's the secret. When something is small and easy, you have no excuse not to do it. You can't say, "I don't have time," because everyone has 5 minutes. You can't say, "I'm too tired," because 2 minutes of stretching doesn't take much energy. And you can't say, "I don't know how," because small steps are always clear and easy. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, tells a story about a man who wanted to build a gym habit but always failed. He was full of motivation on the first day but stopped after a week. So James gave him a strange idea. He said, "Just go to the gym and stay for 2 minutes. Don't even work out. Just go and leave." At first the man laughed. "That's too easy," he said. But he tried it anyway. For the first few days he really just stayed 2 minutes. Then one day he thought, "I'm already here. Maybe I'll do a few exercises." He worked out for 10 minutes. A few days later, 20. After 2 months, he was going to the gym 5 times a week. He lost weight, felt stronger, and built a real habit. The key lesson is this: make it so easy that you can't fail. If your goal is too small to skip, you will keep going. And when you keep going, your small steps start to grow. One day, you will look back and realize that tiny beginning was the start of something big. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Start small, even if it feels a little silly, and just keep showing up. That's how real change begins. Second, habit stacking. This is a simple but powerful idea from James Clear, too. It's called habit stacking, and it can completely change how you build new habits. Here's how it works. You take something you already do every day, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee, and you attach a new habit right after it. In short, you say to yourself, "After I do my current habit, I will do my new habit." Let's look at some examples. After I brush my teeth, I will read 1 English sentence. After I drink my morning coffee, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. After I finish lunch, I will go for a short 5-minute walk. After I sit at my desk, I will write 1 short paragraph. After I turn on my computer, I will take a moment to review my goals for the day. After I finish dinner, I will call 1 friend or family member to say hello. Why does this work so well? Because your brain already knows your current habits. They're automatic. You don't need to think about them. So when you connect a new habit to an old one, your brain picks it up quickly. It's like one train car pulling another. Once the first one moves, the next follows naturally. Let me share a personal story. I wanted to start meditating every morning, but I kept forgetting, so I used habit stacking. I told myself, after I make my bed, I will sit down and meditate for 2 minutes. Making my bed was already something I did every day. So now, as soon as I finish, my brain says, "Okay, now it's time to meditate." At first, I only did 2 minutes, then 5, then 10. Now I meditate for 15 minutes every morning, and it feels completely natural. I don't need motivation or reminders anymore. It just happens. You can do the same thing with learning English, or any new skill. After you eat breakfast, spend 5 minutes watching a short English video. After you brush your teeth at night, read 1 page of an English book. After you get on the bus, listen to an English podcast. After you finish lunch at work, review 10 English flashcards. See how easy that feels? You're not trying to create a brand new routine. You're just adding small, simple actions to things you already do. That's the magic of habit stacking. It helps your new habits grow naturally, 1 step at a time, until they become part of who you are. Third, checking your progress. This next strategy is very simple, but it's also very powerful. If you want your habits to last, you have to see your progress. In other words, you need to track it. Every time you complete your small habit, your 1%, write it down or mark it somewhere. You can use anything you like, a notebook, an app on your phone, a wall calendar, a whiteboard, or even just a piece of paper. Every day that you do your habit, make a big X on your calendar. After a few days, you will start to see a chain of X's, one after another. And your new goal becomes simple. Don't break the streak. There's a famous story about this method. Jerry Seinfeld, one of the most successful comedians in the world, used it to become great at writing jokes. When he was young, he made a rule for himself: I will write jokes every single day. He bought a big wall calendar and hung it in his room. Each day he wrote jokes. He marked a big red X on that day. After 3 days, he had 3 X's, then 5, then 10. When he looked at the growing chain of red marks, he thought, I can't stop now. I don't want to break this streak. And that's how he built his writing habit. When someone asked him for his secret, Jerry said, My rule is simple. Don't break the chain. Why does this method work so well? Because each time you mark that X, your brain feels proud. You get a little hit of happiness, a sense of progress. That small feeling motivates you to keep going. And when you look back and see 30 days of X's in a row, you think, wow, I've come so far. I can't give up now. To make this really work, keep your tracker visible. Put it somewhere you will see every day, on your bedroom wall, your fridge, your bathroom mirror, or your desk. When you see it, you will remember your promise to yourself. So remember this: when you see your progress, you believe in yourself more. And when you believe in yourself, you keep going. That's how small habits become strong ones. 1 X at a time is one tiny victory, one small promise kept, slowly building a foundation of confidence and strength that lasts a lifetime. Fourth, discipline is more important than motivation. Here's a truth that many people don't want to hear. Motivation doesn't last forever, but discipline does. Let me explain. Motivation is just a feeling. Some days you feel excited, full of energy, ready to change your life. But other days, you feel tired, you feel lazy, you just don't want to do anything. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's rainy. You can't control it. But discipline is different. Discipline means doing what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it. That's what successful people do. They don't wait for motivation. They do it anyway. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, didn't wake up every morning at 4 a.m. because he felt motivated. Some mornings he was tired. Some mornings his body hurt. But he went to practice anyway. That's discipline. Stephen King, one of the most famous writers in the world, has written more than 60 books. He writes every single day, even when he's not inspired. He once said, "Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work." That's discipline too. The difference is simple. Amateurs work when they feel like it. Professionals work whether they feel like it or not. Amateurs wait for the perfect time. Professionals start now. Amateurs wait for motivation. Professionals build habits through discipline. James Clear said it best. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That means your goals don't matter if you don't have daily actions. Dreams don't come true without discipline. So how can you build discipline? Don't rely on your feelings. They change every day. Make a small promise. I'll do this every day for 30 days, no matter what. Then keep that promise. Think of your future self. When you're tired, say to yourself, my future self will thank me for doing this today. Do it early in the morning before your brain makes excuses, and most importantly, connect it to who you are. Don't say, I want to be healthy. Say, I am a healthy person. And healthy people move every day, even when they don't feel like it. The real secret of the 1% habit is this. Show up, especially on the days you don't want to. That's when true growth begins. Anyone can act when they're motivated, but champions keep going even when motivation is zero. Dealing with low motivation. 1. Accept that you will have bad days. Some days, you just don't feel motivated. You wake up tired. You feel stressed at work. You feel sad or angry. You ask yourself, why am I doing this? That's normal. It happens to everyone, even successful people. Kobe Bryant had bad days. Warren Buffett had bad days. Emma Watson had bad days. The difference is, they didn't let bad days stop them. So what can you do when your motivation is low? Here's one simple but powerful rule from James Clear. Don't miss twice. If you miss one day, that's okay. Life happens. But don't miss 2 days in a row. For example, maybe you're building a reading habit. You read every day for 2 weeks. Then one day you're busy or tired and you skip it. That's fine. But the next day, read again, even just for 5 minutes. Because if you skip 2 days, it becomes easier to skip 3, and then 4. Soon, the habit is gone. Missing 1 day is okay. Missing 2 days starts a new bad habit. So remember, if you fall once, stand up the next day. Keep your habit alive. Second, set up your environment to make action easy. Sometimes the problem isn't motivation, it's the environment around you. If your environment makes it hard to start, you will always find excuses. So make it easy to begin. If you want to read more, put your book on your bed or your pillow. That way you will see it before you sleep. If you want to exercise, keep your shoes near the door or your workout mat on the floor. When you see them, you will think, okay, I can do just 5 minutes. If you want to learn English, open your learning app or video while eating breakfast. Let your morning routine help your habit. The easier it is to start, the more likely you are to continue. A simple environment creates simple success. Strategy 3. Don't forget why you started. When things get hard, remember why you started. There will be days when you feel tired, when nothing seems to work, and when you start to wonder if it's worth it. But before you give up, stop for a moment. Take a deep breath and think about your reason, your why. Why did you begin this journey? What made you take the first step? Who are you doing it for? Write it down. Don't just keep it in your head. Maybe you want to do it for your family so they can have a better life. Maybe you want to do it for your health so you can feel strong and full of energy again. Or maybe you're doing it for your future so you can look back one day and say, I didn't give up. Your why is like a light in the dark. It helps you find your way when things feel heavy. When you feel lost or bored, read your why again. It will remind you that every small action you take today, even if it feels small or slow, is part of something bigger tomorrow. Keep your why close to your heart. Because when you remember why you started, you will always find a reason to keep going. What made you take the first step? Who are you doing it for? Write it down. Don't just keep it in your head. Maybe you want to do it for your family so they can have a better life. Maybe you want to do it for your health so you can feel strong and full of energy again. Keep your why close to your heart, because when you remember why you started, you will always find a reason to keep going. Becoming 1% better every day doesn't just make you smarter or stronger. It makes you stronger than your old self. Every small action you take is a punch against fear, laziness, and delay. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have your life all figured out. You just need to start, even with one small step. Read one more page. Go for a short walk. Speak one more English sentence. Smile at someone. Each small step may look simple, but together they build something powerful. They build you. Remember, success is not about doing big things once. It's about doing small things again and again, every single day. Think about it. One small action today, another tomorrow, and another the next day. Step by step, your small habits turn into big results. You may not notice the change right away, but one day you will look back and realize how far you've come, how much stronger, calmer, and wiser you've become. So don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for motivation to come. Take the first step now, even if it's small. Because that's how real growth happens. Quietly, slowly, but surely. You don't need a big plan. You just need a small step today and another one tomorrow. 1% better every day. And before you go, remember this: your journey is your own. Be proud of every little effort you make, because each effort is proof that you're still growing, still learning, still trying. So keep going, even when no one's watching, because your future self is already thanking you for not giving up today. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Your support truly means a lot and helps us keep creating more content to inspire and guide you on your English learning journey. Every time you listen, you're not only improving your English, you're also becoming a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Take care and keep going.
There's something that happens in the quiet moments of the morning. Your alarm goes off, jarring you from sleep, but your mind has other plans. Suddenly, a voice begins whispering in your head, gentle, persuasive, seemingly reasonable. Just 5 more minutes, it says. You worked so hard yesterday. You deserve this rest. And as these thoughts circle in your mind, you feel that familiar pull toward comfort, that warmth that whispers, why make life harder than it needs to be? Why not take the easy path? We've all been there. Every single person reading this has negotiated with that voice. Some people give in immediately. Others fight it briefly before surrendering. Some have learned to recognize it for what it truly is. The voice of stagnation, disguised as kindness. But here's the truth that changes everything. You don't have to live at the mercy of that voice. Today, we're going on a journey together. A journey from weakness to strength, from comfort to growth, from excuses to action. If you're tired of feeling controlled by your impulses, if you're ready to learn how to build genuine discipline,
that lasts, then stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you has the power to transform not just your habits, but your entire relationship with yourself. Facing laziness without negotiation. Picture this. Every morning, you engage in a silent negotiation with an invisible opponent. This opponent never sleeps, never gets tired, and has unlimited arguments at its disposal. Its name is laziness, and it's been winning far too often. "I'll start tomorrow," it whispers. "This one day won't matter. I'm too tired right now. I deserve a break after working so hard." Sound familiar? Here's what most people don't realize. Laziness isn't just suggesting you rest, it's training you to quit. Every time you say yes to its negotiations, you're teaching your brain that excuses are more powerful than decisions. Think about Alex, a 28-year-old marketing professional who had big dreams. Every night before bed, Alex would set ambitious goals for the next day, wake up at 6 a.m., hit the gym, work on that side business, read for 30 minutes. But every morning when the alarm rang, the negotiations began. "I'll wake up at 6:30 instead, then 7 o'clock, then 7:30. By the time Alex actually got up, the gym was out of the question, the side business remained untouched, and the only reading that happened was scrolling through social media. After a year of this pattern, Alex looked in the mirror and asked a painful question. How did I become someone I don't respect? The answer was simple but brutal. Alex had been negotiating with laziness and losing every single time. But here's the key insight that changed Alex's life. The moment you stop negotiating is the moment you start winning. Laziness thrives on debate. It loves when you entertain its arguments because it knows that given enough time, it can convince you of anything. But laziness has one fatal weakness. It cannot survive in the presence of immediate action. When your alarm goes off, you have exactly 3 seconds before laziness begins its pitch. In those 3 seconds, you have a choice. Engage in negotiation or move your body. The people who transform their lives have learned to choose movement over discussion. Here's a simple but powerful rule that can change everything. No bargaining before breakfast. From the moment you wake up until you've completed your morning routine, you don't negotiate with any impulse that pulls you toward comfort. Alarm rings, you get up. Time to exercise, you move. Time to work, you begin. This isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about recognizing that your future self is depending on the choices your present self makes right now. Action step. For the next 7 days, implement the 3-second rule. When you need to do something important, count down from 3 and then move your body immediately. 3, 2, 1, go. No thinking, no debating, just action. Notice how different it feels to bypass the negotiation phase entirely. The power of instant action. Most people wait until they feel ready. That's exactly why their dreams keep waiting too. Here's a truth that successful people understand but rarely talk about. Readiness is a feeling that comes after action, not before it. Think about the last time you accomplished something meaningful. I'll bet you didn't feel completely ready when you started. You probably felt nervous, uncertain, maybe even afraid, but you acted anyway. And somewhere in the middle of taking action, readiness found you. The brain has an interesting quirk. It creates more resistance to tasks that haven't been started than to tasks that are in progress. This is why the hardest part of going to the gym isn't the workout, it's putting on your shoes. The hardest part of writing isn't finding the perfect words, it's opening a blank document. Psychologists call this the activation energy principle. Every task has an initial energy barrier that feels disproportionately large compared to what follows. Once you push through that barrier, momentum takes over. Consider Maria, a working mother who wanted to start a blog but kept waiting for the perfect time to begin. She told herself she needed to research the best platform, develop a content strategy, and find her unique voice before writing her first post. Months passed. The perfect time never came. Then Maria learned about instant action. Instead of planning the perfect blog, she opened her laptop and wrote one paragraph about her experience juggling work and motherhood. Just one paragraph, but that paragraph broke the spell. The next day, she wrote 2 paragraphs. Within a week, she had her first complete post. Within a month, she had launched her blog. The magic wasn't in the perfect plan, it was in the decision to start before she felt ready. The 3-2-1 method is your weapon against overthinking. When you think of something you need to do, count down from 3 and then take one small action immediately. Not tomorrow, not after you've planned it perfectly, right now. Need to exercise, 3-2-1, put on your workout clothes. Need to call someone, 3-2-1, pick up the phone. Need to work on a project, 3-2-1, open the file. The action doesn't have to be big, it just has to be immediate, because immediate action creates something that planning never can, momentum. But here's the crucial part. You must shrink the action to make it instant. Don't commit to a 2-hour workout when you count down. Commit to putting on your gym clothes. Don't commit to writing a chapter. Commit to writing one sentence. The goal isn't to finish everything in those first few seconds. The goal is to break the barrier between thought and action. Once you've started, your brain shifts from resistance mode to flow mode. Action step. Right now, think of one task you've been putting off. Set a timer for 10 minutes and use the 3-2-1 method to start it immediately. Don't worry about finishing, just focus on beginning. Notice how different the task feels once you've broken through the initial resistance. Discipline and self-care, the missing balance. Here's where most discipline advice goes wrong. It treats your body and mind like machines that should operate at maximum capacity without breaks, maintenance, or compassion. This approach doesn't just fail, it backfires spectacularly. When you try to force discipline through punishment and deprivation, you create an internal rebellion. Your subconscious mind begins to associate discipline with suffering, making it increasingly difficult to maintain healthy habits. True discipline isn't about forcing yourself to work harder. It's about creating conditions where doing the right thing becomes easier and more sustainable. Let me tell you about David, a software engineer who tried the discipline through suffering approach. He forced himself to wake up at 5 a.m. despite being a natural night owl. He cut out all enjoyable foods. He worked 12-hour days without breaks. For 3 weeks, he felt like a discipline machine. Then he crashed hard. He slept until noon for a week straight, binged on junk food, and couldn't bring himself to work on anything meaningful. His rigid discipline had triggered an equally extreme rebellion. When David learned about balanced discipline, everything changed. Instead of forcing himself to wake up at 5 a.m., he gradually shifted his schedule 15 minutes earlier each week. Instead of eliminating all treats, he planned one small indulgence each day. Instead of working without breaks, he scheduled rest periods just as seriously as he scheduled work time. The result? David not only maintained his new habits for over 2 years, but he actually enjoyed the process. His discipline became sustainable because it included self-care as a core component, not an afterthought. The 80-20 discipline principle. 80% of the time, make choices that align with your long-term goals. 20% of the time, allow flexibility and enjoyment without guilt. This isn't permission to be lazy, it's recognition that humans aren't machines. We need rest, pleasure, and variety to function optimally. When you plan for these needs instead of fighting them, discipline becomes a sustainable lifestyle, rather than a temporary sprint. Recovery is part of the process, not a break from it. Just as athletes schedule rest days to prevent injury and improve performance, you need to schedule mental and emotional recovery to maintain psychological health. This means taking breaks without feeling guilty, enjoying treats without shame, saying no to commitments that drain your energy, adjusting your standards when you're going through difficult times. The strongest people aren't those who never rest, they're those who rest strategically so they can perform consistently over the long term. Action step. Identify one area where you've been too rigid in your approach to discipline. This week, experiment with adding more flexibility while maintaining your core commitment. For example, if you exercise every single day, try exercising 6 days with one planned rest day. Notice whether this actually improves your consistency and enjoyment. Mastering your internal dialogue. Every day, you have approximately 60,000 thoughts. Many of these thoughts happen automatically, without your conscious awareness. But among these thousands of thoughts, there's a particular type that has enormous power over your behavior, the thoughts you think about yourself and your capabilities. Most people are walking around with an internal critic that would make Gordon Ramsay seem gentle by comparison. This voice remembers every mistake, magnifies every flaw, and predicts failure in every challenge. You're not disciplined enough. You always start things but never finish them. Who are you kidding? You'll quit like you always do. Here's what's insidious about negative self-talk. It doesn't just describe your reality, it creates it. When you repeatedly tell yourself you're undisciplined, you start acting in ways that confirm that belief. You create what psychologists call a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the reverse is also true. When you learn to speak to yourself with the voice of a supportive coach rather than a harsh critic, your behavior begins to align with that more positive narrative. This isn't about positive thinking or lying to yourself. It's about replacing destructive self-talk with constructive self-direction. Instead of, I never follow through on anything, try, I'm building my follow-through skills one day at a time. Instead of, I'm so lazy, try, I'm learning to choose action over comfort. Instead of, I'll probably fail anyway, try, I'll give this my best effort and learn from whatever happens. The difference isn't just in how these statements feel, it's in what they make possible. Harsh self-criticism creates shame and paralysis. Constructive self-direction creates motivation and possibility. The voice replacement technique. Notice when your internal critic speaks. Pause instead of automatically believing what it says. Ask, is this thought helping me or hinting me? Replace destructive thoughts with constructive ones. Act based on the new, more helpful thought. This takes practice. You've probably been talking to yourself in certain ways for years or decades. Be patient with the process, but be consistent with the practice. Action step. For the next week, carry a small notebook or use your phone to track negative self-talk. Each time you catch yourself being unnecessarily harsh, write down what you said and then rewrite it in a more constructive way. Don't try to eliminate all challenging thoughts. Just replace the destructive ones with more helpful alternatives. The compound effect of small repetitions. Here's a question that reveals everything about how change really works. Would you rather have $1 million today or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Most people would take the $1 million, but they'd be making a costly mistake. That penny, doubling daily, would be worth over $5 million by day 30. This is the power of compound growth, and it applies to habits just as much as it applies to money. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive results over time. But here's the challenge. For the first 20 days, that doubling penny looks pathetic compared to the $1 million. On day 10, it's worth about $5. On day 20, it's worth about $5,000. It's not until the final few days that the exponential growth becomes obvious. Habit change works exactly the same way. The results are invisible for weeks or even months. Then, seemingly overnight, everything changes. Most people quit during the invisible phase because they can't see the progress. They go to the gym for 2 weeks and wonder why they don't look like a fitness model. They eat healthy for a month and get frustrated that they haven't transformed their entire relationship with food. But the people who understand compound growth, they trust the process even when they can't see the results. They know that every repetition is building neural pathways, even when the external changes aren't visible yet. Consider the story of James, who decided to read for just 10 minutes every morning. For the first month, it felt insignificant. 10 minutes wasn't enough to finish anything substantial. He questioned whether it was worth the effort. But James understood compound growth. He trusted that consistency matters more than intensity. By the end of the year, those 10-minute sessions had added up to over 60 hours of reading, enough to complete 12 to 15 books. More importantly, reading had become automatic. He no longer had to force himself to pick up a book. His brain expected it. Want to exercise? Commit to putting on workout clothes every day. Want to write? Commit to writing 1 sentence every day. Want to meditate? Commit to taking 3 conscious breaths every day. Want to eat healthier? Commit to eating 1 piece of fruit every day. These habits seem almost absurdly small. That's the point. You're not trying to achieve dramatic results immediately. You're trying to wire a new pattern into your brain with the least possible resistance. Once the tiny habit becomes automatic, usually 2 to 6 weeks, you can gradually expand it, but the foundation, the daily repetition, remains constant. The most important rule of compound habits: never break the chain twice in a row. If you miss one day, get back on track immediately. Missing one day is human. Missing 2 days in a row is the beginning of a broken habit. Action step. Choose one small habit you want to build and commit to the smallest possible version for the next 30 days. Make it so easy that you'd feel silly not doing it. Track your daily completion on a calendar or app. Focus on consistency, not results. Strategic self-command. The way you speak to yourself in moments of challenge determines whether you rise to meet that challenge or shrink away from it. Most people use either harsh criticism, "You're pathetic, just do it," or weak encouragement. Maybe you could try to do this if you feel like it. Neither approach works well. Harsh criticism creates shame and resistance. Weak encouragement lacks the power to overcome resistance. What works is strategic self-command. Speaking to yourself with the clarity and authority of a trusted coach who believes in your capabilities but won't accept excuses. Instead of, "I should probably exercise," try, "I exercise now." Instead of, "I'll try to get up early," try, "I wake up at 6 a.m. Instead of, "Maybe I'll work on that project," try, "I complete one task immediately." Notice the difference. Strategic self-commands are specific. What exactly will you do? Immediate. When will you do it? Certain. No hedge words like try or maybe. This isn't about being rigid or unrealistic. It's about training your brain to expect action rather than negotiation. Your body and mind are more connected than most people realize. When you use physical commands, you activate both your mental and physical systems. Stand up now instead of, "I should get up." Walk to the kitchen instead of, "I need to eat something healthy." Open the laptop instead of, "I should work on that project." Physical commands bypass the thinking mind and activate the doing mind. They're particularly useful when you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck. For moments when resistance feels overwhelming, have an emergency protocol ready. Stop what you're doing. Breathe deeply 3 times. Choose one tiny action you can take immediately. Command yourself clearly, "I specific action now." Move your body without further thought. This protocol interrupts the spiral of overthinking and gets you back into action mode. The goal isn't to become a drill sergeant with yourself. The goal is to develop the ability to give yourself clear, kind, but firm direction when your emotions are trying to lead you away from your commitments. Action step. Practice strategic self-command for one specific area this week. Choose an area where you typically use weak language, "I should," "I'll try," "maybe," and replace it with clear commands, "I will," "I do," "I complete." Notice how different it feels to speak to yourself with authority rather than uncertainty. Creating positive pressure. Pressure gets a bad reputation, but it's actually one of the most powerful tools for building discipline. The key is learning to create the right kind of pressure, the kind that motivates rather than overwhelms. Think about diamonds. They're created under intense pressure and heat deep within the earth. Without that pressure, carbon remains graphite, soft and easily broken. With the right amount of pressure applied over time, it becomes one of the hardest substances on earth. Your discipline works the same way. Too little pressure and you remain soft, easily bent by every impulse and distraction. The right amount of pressure applied consistently transforms you into someone strong and resilient. Here are the 3 types of positive pressure. 1. Time pressure, deadlines. Instead of saying, "I'll get this done eventually," create specific deadlines, but make them realistic and tied to something meaningful. Instead of, "I'll write a book someday," try, "I'll complete the first draft by December 31st because I want to enter the new year having accomplished this meaningful goal." 2. Social pressure, accountability. Tell people about your commitments, not to impress them, but to create external accountability. When someone asks, "How's that project going?" you feel natural pressure to have progress to report. Find an accountability partner who will check in with you weekly. Share your goals on social media. Join a group of people working towards similar objectives. 3. Financial pressure. Skin in the game. Invest money in your goals. Buy the gym membership. Hire the coach. Register for the class. When you have financial investment, quitting costs money, which creates pressure to follow through. Spend 5 minutes each week visualizing 2 futures. Future A. What your life looks like if you continue with your current habits. Future B. What your life looks like if you successfully build the discipline you're working toward. Make both visions specific and emotional. What do you see, feel, and experience in each future? How do others respond to you? How do you feel about yourself? This creates emotional pressure by making the consequences of your choices feel real and immediate. And remember, even positive pressure needs outlets. Schedule specific times to relax without guilt. Have a weekly pressure-free activity you enjoy. Adjust your standards during especially stressful periods. Celebrate progress, not just outcomes. The goal is steady, sustainable pressure that motivates consistent action without creating burnout. Action step. Choose one area where you've been too comfortable and add one form of positive pressure this week. Either set a specific deadline, tell someone about your commitment, or invest money in the outcome. Notice how this changes your level of urgency and focus. Building resilience through chosen difficulty. Here's a paradox that most people never understand. The more you avoid discomfort, the more uncomfortable your life becomes. The more you seek comfort, the less resilient you become to life's inevitable challenges. But when you voluntarily choose difficulty, when you deliberately do hard things when you don't have to, you build what psychologists call stress inoculation. You become stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling whatever life throws at you. Think about vaccines. They work by introducing a small, controlled amount of a virus into your system. Your immune system learns to recognize and fight the threat, making you immune to the larger, more dangerous version. Chosen difficulty works as a psychological vaccine. When you voluntarily do hard things, you build mental antibodies that protect you when truly difficult situations arise. Examples of chosen difficulty. Taking cold showers when you could take hot ones. Walking when you could drive, cooking when you could order takeout. Having difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. Waking up early when you could sleep in. The key word is chosen. This isn't about punishing yourself or making life unnecessarily hard. It's about strategically building your tolerance for discomfort. Consider the story of Rachel, a marketing executive who felt overwhelmed by her demanding job. Every challenge at work felt like a crisis. Every difficult conversation felt traumatic. She was constantly stressed and considering quitting. Then Rachel learned about chosen difficulty. She started small, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, having one difficult conversation per week instead of avoiding them, waking up 30 minutes earlier to exercise before work. These small acts of voluntary discomfort began building her confidence. She realized that if she could choose to do hard things, she could handle hard things when they were imposed on her. Within 6 months, work stress that used to overwhelm her now felt manageable. This is the comfort zone expansion exercise. Once per week, do something that makes you slightly uncomfortable but isn't harmful. Speak up in a meeting when you normally wouldn't. Start a conversation with a stranger. Try a physical activity that challenges you. Express an opinion you normally keep to yourself. Ask for something you want but are afraid to request. The goal isn't to become someone who seeks out suffering. The goal is to become someone who isn't controlled by the need for comfort. Important distinction. Chosen difficulty should be challenging but not overwhelming. You're building strength, not breaking yourself down. Start small and gradually increase the challenge as your tolerance builds. When you regularly choose difficulty, something remarkable happens. Your relationship with discomfort changes. Instead of seeing discomfort as something to be avoided at all costs, you begin to see it as information, as feedback, as a sign that you're growing. Action step. This week, choose one small difficulty each day. Nothing dangerous or harmful, just something slightly uncomfortable that you normally avoid. Notice how your confidence grows as you prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. overcoming impulses with future focus. Every day, you face dozens of small choices between immediate pleasure and long-term benefit. Should you scroll social media or read a book? Should you eat the donut or have the apple? Should you stay up late watching Netflix or go to bed early? These choices seem small in the moment, but they're actually the building blocks of your entire life. The quality of your future is determined by how well you handle these moment-to-moment impulses. In the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment, children who could resist eating one marshmallow to get 2 marshmallows later showed better life outcomes decades later: higher SAT scores, lower obesity rates, better relationships. But here's what's crucial: the children who succeeded weren't just exercising willpower, they were using specific strategies to manage their impulses. Strategy 1: the future self-visualization. When you feel an impulse to choose immediate pleasure over long-term benefit, pause and ask, how will I feel about this choice in 1 hour, 1 day, 1 year? Most impulses offer pleasure that lasts minutes, but create consequences that last much longer. When you extend your time horizon, the right choice often becomes obvious. Strategy 2: the 2-path technique. Visualize 2 versions of yourself 1 year from now. Version A: the person you become if you consistently give in to impulses. Version B: the person you become if you consistently choose long-term benefit. Make these visions specific and emotional. What does each version look like? How do they feel about themselves? What opportunities are available to each? This creates emotional weight that can overcome the pull of immediate gratification. Strategy 3: the replacement habit. Instead of trying to eliminate impulses through willpower alone, replace them with healthier alternatives. Feel the urge to scroll social media? Open a book or podcast instead. Want to eat junk food? Drink a glass of water first. Tempted to stay up late? Go to your bedroom and do gentle stretches. The goal isn't to eliminate all pleasure, but to redirect impulses toward choices that serve your long-term goals. Strategy 4: the 10-10-10 rule. Before acting on an impulse, ask yourself, how will I feel about this choice in 10 minutes? How will I feel about this choice in 10 months? How will I feel about this choice in 10 years? This simple framework helps you see beyond the immediate moment and consider the full consequences of your actions. For 1 week, track your impulses without trying to change them. Notice what triggers them: stress, boredom, specific situations. What time of day they're strongest. Which ones you resist and which ones you follow. This awareness alone will begin to weaken their power over you. You can't change what you don't notice. Remember, the goal isn't to become a robot who never enjoys immediate pleasures. The goal is to become someone who chooses those pleasures consciously rather than compulsively, and who can delay gratification when it serves your larger purposes. Action step: choose one recurring impulse you'd like to manage better. For the next week, use the future self-visualization technique every time that impulse arises. Before acting, ask yourself how you'll feel about the choice in 1 hour and 1 day. Notice how this changes your decision-making. Focused energy allocation. In our hyper-connected world, the scarcest resource isn't time or money, it's focused attention. Every notification, every interruption, every random thought pulls your mental energy in different directions. By the end of the day, you feel exhausted but can't point to meaningful progress. This is the modern epidemic: busy but not productive, active but not effective. The solution isn't working harder or longer, it's learning to direct your energy with laser precision toward the activities that create the most meaningful results. The 80-20 principle applied to discipline. In any area of life, roughly 20% of your activities produce 80% of your results. The same principle applies to discipline. 20% of your habits produce 80% of your progress. 20% of your daily actions create 80% of your satisfaction. 20% of your time investments generate 80% of your growth. The key is identifying your high-impact 20% and protecting that time and energy ruthlessly. For 1 week, track how you spend your energy across these categories: creation, writing, building, designing, planning; connection, meaningful conversations, relationship building; consumption, reading, learning, entertainment; maintenance, emails, household tasks, routine activities; reaction, responding to interruptions, putting out fires. Most people spend 70% of their energy on maintenance and reaction, leaving little for creation and growth. Disciplined people flip this ratio. Each morning, identify the 3 most important tasks that will move your life forward. These aren't necessarily the most urgent tasks, they're the most impactful ones. Complete these 3 tasks before doing anything else. No emails, no social media, no busy work, just focused effort on what matters most. This simple practice ensures that even if the rest of your day gets derailed, you've made meaningful progress on your priorities. Let's take a look at this energy protection strategies. Batch similar activities. Check email twice daily, not throughout the day. Create no templates for common requests that don't align with your priorities. Use the phone in another room rule during focused work. Schedule your peak energy hours for your most important work. Set boundaries around your time without guilt or over-explanation. Before saying yes to any request, opportunity, or activity, ask, is this the best use of my energy to achieve my most important goals? If the answer isn't a clear yes, it's a no. This isn't about becoming selfish or antisocial, it's about becoming intentional. When you protect your energy for what matters most, you actually have more to give to the people and causes you care about. The focus ritual. Develop a 5-minute ritual that signals to your brain it's time for focused work. Clear your workspace, turn off notifications, take 3 deep breaths. Review your intention for this work session. Begin with the most challenging task. This ritual creates a mental boundary between scattered mode and focused mode. Action step. For the next week, implement the Big 3 methodology. Each morning, identify your 3 most important tasks and complete them before checking email or social media. Track how this changes both your productivity and your sense of accomplishment. Building your disciplined identity. The deepest level of change happens not when you change what you do, but when you change who you believe you are. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. When you go to the gym, you're voting to be someone who is fit. When you read instead of watching TV, you're voting to be someone who is educated. When you choose the difficult conversation over avoidance, you're voting to be someone who is courageous. The identity-based discipline approach focuses on becoming rather than achieving. Instead of, I want to lose 20 pounds, outcome-based, try, I am becoming someone who makes healthy choices, identity-based. Instead of, I want to write a book, outcome-based, try, I am becoming someone who writes consistently, identity-based. The 2-step identity change process. Decide the type of person you want to be. Prove it to yourself with small wins. Every time you act in alignment with your desired identity, you strengthen that identity. Every time you act against it, you weaken it. Before making any decision, ask yourself, what would a disciplined person do in this situation? What would someone who has their life together choose here? How would the person I want to become handle this moment? Then act accordingly, not because you are that person yet, but because you are becoming that person. The evidence collection method. Keep a daily record of evidence that supports your new identity. Evidence: I am becoming disciplined. I woke up on time despite feeling tired. Evidence: I am becoming healthy. I chose water over soda at lunch. Evidence: I am becoming focused. I worked for 90 minutes without checking my phone. This isn't about being perfect, it's about noticing and celebrating the moments when you act in alignment with who you're becoming. Handling identity challenges. When you slip up, and you will, avoid language that reinforces a negative identity. Instead of, I'm so undisciplined, I always mess up, try, That choice didn't align with who I'm becoming. What can I learn from this? The goal is to see mistakes as feedback rather than evidence of fundamental character flaws. Surround yourself with people who reflect your desired identity. Join groups of people who embody the discipline you want to develop. Their standards and behaviors will gradually become your standards and behaviors. This doesn't mean abandoning old friends, but it does mean being intentional about who influences your thinking and behavior patterns. Action step. Define the type of person you want to become in one clear sentence. I am becoming someone who. Che. For the next 30 days, ask yourself the identity question before making important decisions, and keep a daily record of evidence that supports this new identity. Your balanced beginning. As we reach the end of this journey together, I want you to understand something crucial. Building discipline is not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or never feeling like giving up. It's about creating a sustainable system that allows you to grow consistently while maintaining your humanity. You are not a machine that needs to be programmed for maximum output. You are a human being with needs, emotions, and limitations that deserve respect and compassion. The path forward isn't about forcing yourself into an impossible standard of perfection. It's about building a relationship with discipline that feels supportive rather than punitive, challenging rather than overwhelming, sustainable rather than extreme. Remember, every person who has built lasting discipline started exactly where you are now, with imperfection, uncertainty, and the simple desire to become better. The journey begins with one small choice. Put down your phone for the next hour and do one thing that matters to you. Write one paragraph, take one walk, make one healthy meal, have one important conversation, clean one small area, learn one new thing. Not because you feel motivated, not because conditions are perfect, not because you have a complete plan. Simply because you are choosing to become someone who acts with intention rather than impulse. Your transformation starts now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready, not when life gets easier. Right now, with whatever you have, wherever you are, however you feel. Take the first step. Replace one negotiation with action. Use the 3-2-1 method once. Speak to yourself with kindness, but firmness. Choose difficulty over comfort in one small way. Focus your energy on what truly matters for just 1 hour. One step, one choice. One moment of deciding that your future self deserves better than your past patterns. Your disciplined life is waiting, but it will only come to those who stop waiting for it and start building it, one balanced choice at a time. The time for excuses is over. The time for sustainable action begins now. Welcome to your balanced beginning. We live in a world that loves busy people. Open Instagram and you'll see quotes like "hustle harder" or "sleep is for the weak." Everyone is running, everyone is working, everyone is tired. But here's a question nobody asks. Is all this hard work actually working? Think about it. You probably know someone who works 12 hours a day, every single day. They're always busy, always stressed, always saying, "I have no time." But after 1 year, 2 years, or even 5 years, are they truly moving forward, or are they just exhausted? This is the hidden problem with our work-hard culture. We were taught that trying harder is the only path to success, but that's not always true. Sometimes working harder without reflection is like running fast in the wrong direction. You end up farther from where you actually want to go. Real progress doesn't come from endless motion. It comes from clarity, focus, and smart systems that multiply your effort instead of draining it. Welcome to Fluent English with Radio, the channel where you grow your English and your mindset. In this video, we will explore why hard work alone doesn't guarantee success. You'll learn the hidden traps of blind effort, discover how to think strategically, and find smarter ways to reach your goals without burning out. Because the truth is simple, you don't need to work more, you just need to work right. 1. Why hard work doesn't always mean success. When we were young, everyone told us the same thing. Just work hard and you will succeed. Teachers said it, parents said it, society repeated it again and again, and we believed it. We learned to equate effort with worth, to think that if we simply tried harder, things would eventually fall into place. But look around. Have you noticed something strange? Some people work their whole lives, yet nothing really changes. Same job, same problems, same routine. They wake up early, stay up late, and still feel stuck, like they're running on a treadmill that never moves forward. So maybe the problem isn't that they aren't trying hard enough. The problem is that they're trying in the wrong way. For generations, hard work was seen as a virtue, a symbol of discipline, character, and perseverance. It made perfect sense in the past, when the world was simpler and effort alone could open doors. But today, things are different. The world is faster, louder, and infinitely more complex. There are countless paths to choose from, endless distractions competing for our attention, and systems that reward not just effort, but creativity, strategy, and adaptability. In this environment, working harder doesn't always lead to success. Sometimes it just keeps you busy, exhausted, overwhelmed, and stuck in the same place. The truth is, the old rule no longer fits the modern world. Effort still matters, but it is not enough. Without the right system, even the hardest worker can end up going in circles, feeling busy every day, but never moving forward or seeing any real change in their life. 2. When hard work becomes a distraction. Most people work hard to avoid thinking. We stay busy so we don't have to face the real questions. Am I doing the right thing? Where is all this effort taking me? Thinking is uncomfortable, so we just keep working. But that's how people get trapped. Do you know? There are 3 common hard work traps, and maybe you've already fallen into one of them without realizing it. The first trap is the directionless grind. You work a lot, but don't know where you're going. You wake up early, go to bed late, and always feel productive. But at the end of the month, you ask, what did I actually achieve? You can climb a mountain your whole life, only to realize you climbed the wrong one. Without a clear goal, all that work just makes you tired. It doesn't take you anywhere meaningful. Next is the fear loop. You keep working because you're afraid to stop, afraid to fall behind, afraid to look lazy. You think stopping is weakness, but sometimes stopping is the bravest thing you can do. People in the fear loop are running all the time, but they're not running towards something. They're running away from their fear. And the problem with running from fear is that you never arrive anywhere. You just get more and more tired. The last trap is the validation trap. You use being busy to feel valuable. When someone asks, "How are you?" you say, "So busy," and it feels good. But if you need a full schedule to prove your worth, maybe you lack direction, not effort. But when you fall into the validation trap, you start filling your time just to feel important. You say yes to everything. You take on projects you don't care about, not because they matter, but because being busy makes you feel like you matter. Hard work feels safe because it looks productive, but real growth often begins the moment you stop, when you finally think, reflect, and ask, is this really what I want? I know Alex. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, for 6 months. He told everyone he was grinding, but when asked why, he couldn't answer. Eventually, he burned out, exhausted, lost, and hating the very job he once loved. That's what happens when you work hard without direction. You don't fail fast, you slowly fade away. 3. How to work smart, not work hard. If you want to stop running in circles, you need a system. Now we understand the problem. We've seen how hard work without direction leads to exhaustion, not success. We've identified the traps that keep us running but not moving forward. So what's the solution? The answer is not to stop working. It is not to become lazy. The answer is to work smart instead of just working hard. But what does working smart actually mean? In this section, I will show you exactly how to make this shift. First, we will change how you think about work. Then, I will give you 4 practical steps you can start using today. Let's begin. A. Change your mindset. Before you can change what you do, you need to change how you think. Here are 3 fundamental mindset shifts that will transform your approach to work. First, from effort to direction. Stop asking, "How much am I doing?" Start asking, "Am I going in the right direction?" This is the most important change you can ever make in the way you think and work. Many people confuse movement with progress. They work long hours, complete endless tasks, and stay busy every day, but somehow end up in the same place. It's like a runner who trains tirelessly but never checks the map or have any plans. He runs fast, but in the wrong direction. He even cannot finish any race. Meanwhile, another runner might train less, but with a clear plan, he knows when to rest, when to push, and how to adjust. In the end, he reaches the finish line faster and stronger. Effort without direction is just wasted energy. Each morning, take a moment to ask yourself, what is my main goal right now? And will what I'm about to do bring me closer to that goal? If the answer is no, then maybe it is not worth doing, no matter how urgent it feels. Remember, one small step in the right direction is far more valuable than 10 steps in the wrong one. In the end, direction always beats effort. Second, from busy to effective. Many people still believe that being busy means being successful, but the truth is, success doesn't come from how full your schedule is. It comes from how effective you are. Being busy is easy. Anyone can fill their day with meetings, messages, and small, unimportant tasks, but activity is not the same as progress. Real effectiveness is about using your time and energy on what truly matters. 3 deep hours are worth more than 30 scattered ones. Deep hours are moments when you give your full attention to one important task, no distractions, no multitasking. Scattered hours, on the other hand, are when you're half working and half distracted, constantly checking emails, scrolling through social media, or switching between tasks. Deep work creates results, while shallow work only creates exhaustion. The key is to do less, but do it better. Identify the few actions that truly move you closer to your goals, and protect those hours as if they were meetings with your future self. Don't judge your day by how long you worked, but by what you actually accomplished. Busy people fill their time. Effective people create impact. Third, from harder to smarter. When things don't work, most people try harder. They add more hours, more effort, more pressure. But if your method is wrong, doing more of it only gets you tired faster. Imagine pushing a door that won't open. You keep pushing harder until someone walks by, pulls it, and walks through easily. Smart people don't just work harder, they pause, observe, and change their approach. That's what working smarter means, redesigning your system. A system is simply the way you manage your habits, routines, and processes. If the system isn't giving you results, don't push harder. Change the system. Ask yourself, is there a better way to do this? What can I automate, delegate, or eliminate? What's the real problem slowing me down? The goal isn't to double your effort, it is to double your results with the same or even less effort. Smart people don't work endlessly, they work intelligently, strategically, and sustainably. Success doesn't belong to those who work the most. It belongs to those who know where to go, what to focus on, and how to design their system to get there. Because in the end, it is not about working more, it is about working right. Changing your mindset is the foundation of everything. Before you can transform your actions, you must first transform the way you think. A new mindset opens new possibilities. It helps you see what others miss and make better decisions about where to spend your time and energy. You can copy someone's habits, schedule, or system, but if your thinking doesn't change, your results won't change either. B. 4. Practical steps to stop working hard. Meaninglessly. The mindset shifts you've learned are powerful. They change how you see work, success, and effort. But now, it's time to turn those ideas into action. Philosophy is useless if it never becomes practice. You already understand the principle. Working smart is about effectiveness, not just effort. Below are 4 concrete steps you can start using today. These steps will help you build clarity, use leverage, protect your energy, and grow consistently. Together, they form a system for sustainable progress. Step 1. Clarify your end goal. Before you start doing anything, you need to know exactly why you are doing it. This may sound obvious, but most people skip this step. They jump into work, pile up tasks, stay busy all day, and yet, months later, realize they are not any closer to the life they want. They mistake movement for progress, like running on a treadmill, sweating, but staying in the same place. First, ask yourself one question: what am I actually trying to achieve? Avoid vague answers like, I want to be successful, or I just want to do better. Those sound positive but have no direction. A vague goal creates vague actions, and vague actions lead to vague results. When your goal is specific, every action has purpose. Think about it. Would you ever get in a car, start driving, and hope to somehow end up somewhere good? Of course not. You'd pick a destination first, check the map, and decide the fastest route. Yet in life, many people drive without a map. They keep the engine running full of effort, but end up nowhere meaningful. To fix that, start by writing your goal down. Writing forces you to define what you truly want. It turns thoughts into commitments. Open a notebook or a digital document and write, "My main goal for this year is." Then complete that sentence with something specific and measurable. Instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," say, "I want to run a 10K race under 60 minutes by December." Instead of, "I want to be more successful," say, "I want to earn $5,000 in savings by July so I can travel to Japan." When you can measure it, you can manage it. Clear goals also keep you motivated when things get hard. When you know exactly why you're doing something, you can handle setbacks with patience. Every challenge becomes a meaningful step, not a random struggle. But clarity isn't just about defining what you want. It's also about confirming why you want it. Many people chase goals that aren't truly theirs. They try to impress their parents, prove something to friends, or live up to social expectations. These borrowed dreams drain energy because the heart isn't in them. So pause, ask yourself honestly, is this my goal or someone else's idea of success? If it's not yours, let it go. Genuine motivation grows only from personal desire. You can borrow someone's dream, but not their passion. Once your goal is clear and personal, break it into milestones. Big dreams can look intimidating, but smaller steps make them achievable. Suppose your goal is learn English and speak confidently with native speakers. Your milestones could look like this. Month 1. Finish an online English basics course and review common daily phrases. Month 2. Watch one short English video every day and write a short summary in your own words. Months 3 to 4. Join a speaking club or find a language partner to practice 20 minutes daily. Months 5 to 6. Record yourself speaking about different topics once a week and track your improvement. Now you have a map. Each milestone gives you a sense of progress, small victories that build confidence. You're no longer studying English in random ways. You're following a clear, step-by-step plan that leads to real communication. Clarity is power. Once you know your destination, even small steps move you forward with purpose. Clarity gives you power. Once you know your destination, even small steps count. But clarity also helps you say no to distractions, to unnecessary work, and to other people's agendas. When your goal is defined, it becomes easier to protect your focus. And smart people aren't those who do everything. They're those who know what not to do. Step 2. Identify leverage points. Now that you know where you're going, the next question is how to get there efficiently. Most people believe the answer is simply to do more. They think more hours, more effort, and more speed will bring better results. But that's not intelligence, that's exhaustion. Smart people think differently. They ask, what's the one thing that, if I do it really well, will make everything else easier or unnecessary? That is the art of finding leverage. A leverage point is a small action that produces a big result. A task that multiplies your effort instead of merely adding to it. Think of a lever in physics. With the right lever, you can lift a heavy rock with very little force. The same principle applies to work and life. Leverage multiplies your impact, helping you achieve more by doing less. Let's take a practical example. Suppose your goal is to speak Spanish fluently in 1 year. You could read grammar books for hours, memorize thousands of words, or watch endless Spanish shows with subtitles. These can help, but they are not your leverage point. The real leverage is having real conversations with native speakers for 20 to 30 minutes a day. Why? Because conversation gives instant feedback, forces your brain to think in Spanish, and builds real confidence. In half an hour of speaking, you learn more than you would in hours of passive study. That's leverage, focused effort that creates faster growth. The same idea applies to nearly every goal. If you want to grow your business, your leverage might be improving customer loyalty instead of chasing new clients. If you're a designer, your leverage could be learning one advanced tool that automates repetitive work. If you're learning English, your leverage might be daily speaking practice instead of endless vocabulary lists. So ask yourself every day, where is my lever? What small action gives the biggest result? Once you find it, put most of your energy there. Many people spread themselves across 20 small tasks that produce almost nothing. Working smart means focusing on the few things that truly move the needle. A useful mindset here is the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. Your job is to find that important 20%. Once you identify it, cut out, delegate, or simplify the rest. You don't need to do more. You need to do what truly matters. People who don't understand leverage get lost in busyness. They think being active means being effective. They do 100 things halfway instead of 5 things with excellence. But remember, you don't get paid for the hours you work. You get rewarded for the value you create during those hours. That's what leverage is all about. Leverage also means using the right tools, systems, and people. If an app saves you 1 hour of work a day, that's leverage. If you ask someone experienced to teach you a faster way, that's leverage too. Every shortcut that keeps quality high and saves time is part of working smarter. Real success doesn't come from endless effort. It comes from learning how to make every effort count. Step 3. Design rest into the system. This step surprises people. Rest as a strategy? Yes, because rest is not a reward, it's part of the plan. In today's busy world, people often see rest as something weak or lazy. Many believe that if you are tired, it means you are doing well. They say, I only slept 4 hours last night. and expect others to admire them. But that is not real success. Working without rest is not commitment, it is slow self-destruction. If you really want to work smart, you must see rest as fuel, not laziness. Think about an athlete. No champion trains every single hour of the day. They plan their training carefully and take time to rest so their muscles can grow stronger. The same rule applies to your brain. A tired brain can't make smart choices. When your mind is exhausted, you lose focus, you make more mistakes, you become impatient, forgetful, and less creative. Rest is not wasted time, it's repair time. Science also supports this idea. Research shows that lack of sleep weakens your immune system, increases stress, and makes it harder to make good decisions. You might think working 12 hours a day means you are being productive, but in truth, your performance drops after a few hours. Your brain becomes slower, your attention gets weaker, and even simple tasks take longer. Working long hours without rest is like trying to run a marathon without drinking water. You might move forward for a while, but you will collapse before reaching the finish line. That's why you should plan rest as part of your system, just like you plan your work. Start with daily rest. Choose a specific time to stop working every day, and when that time comes, stop for real. Turn off your computer, put away your phone, and let your mind relax. The unfinished work can wait until tomorrow, but your energy cannot. When you stop working on time, you protect your focus for the next day. Next, give yourself weekly rest. Choose one full day each week to completely disconnect from anything work-related. Don't check emails, don't think about tasks or deadlines. Use this day to reset your body and your mind. Go outside, meet your friends, cook something nice, or simply do nothing. Let your brain breathe. When you come back to work, you will feel refreshed and ready to think clearly again. Finally, make time for yearly rest. Take real vacations, not those workcations where you still reply to messages from the beach. Real rest means full disconnection from work. Go somewhere new, explore nature, read books, or just spend quiet time with people you love. These long breaks give your mind space to recover and your creativity room to grow. Sleep is another key part of rest. Protect it like it's part of your job. Aim for 7 to 9 hours every night. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time each day. Avoid screens 1 hour before sleeping, because light from phones and computers can keep your brain awake. Good sleep helps you think better, feel calmer, and solve problems faster. Remember, your brain is your most important tool, and it needs care to work well. But rest isn't only about sleeping, it's also about small pauses during the day. Take 10-minute walks outside, stretch your body, drink water slowly, read a few pages of a book, or share a short talk with someone you care about. These short breaks help your focus more than another cup of coffee ever could. Many people feel guilty when they rest. They think they are wasting time, but guilt is the real enemy of productivity. Rest is not the opposite of work. It is part of it. Just like your phone needs to charge to keep working, your body and mind need to recharge too. Burnout doesn't come from working hard, it comes from never stopping. So make rest a non-negotiable part of your plan. Don't wait until you reach success to rest. Use rest to stay strong, creative, and consistent on your way there. When you protect your energy, you protect your progress. Because in the end, success that destroys your health isn't real success. True success is sustainable, and rest is what makes it last. Step 4. Review weekly, adjust fast. The final step is reflection. This is where your effort turns into growth. Many people stay busy every week without stopping to ask, am I actually improving? They confuse activity with progress. You can run in circles for years and still be nowhere closer to your goals if you never stop to look at the map. That's why you need a habit of weekly review. Every Friday afternoon or Sunday evening, spend 15 to 20 minutes reflecting on your week. It doesn't sound like much, but this small ritual can completely change your direction. Here's how you can do it. Begin each weekly review by checking your progress. Look at the milestones you've set and see what's actually been completed. This gives you a realistic picture of where you stand. Next, take a moment to celebrate your wins, even the small ones. Progress builds momentum, and recognizing it keeps your motivation alive. After that, look for what didn't work. Identify the activities or habits that wasted your time, distracted you, or gave you little return for the effort you invested. Be brutally honest with yourself. Then reflect on what you learned. Every week teaches you something new about your habits, your energy, or your priorities. Write down 1 to 3 lessons or insights that stand out. Finally, decide on one practical change you will make in the coming week based on what you've discovered. Keep it small and specific. One consistent adjustment is more powerful than 10 forgotten promises. By following this simple process, you turn your week's experiences into progress and your effort into growth. This habit turns experience into wisdom. It prevents you from repeating mistakes and reinforces what works. Without reflection, you might keep pushing forward blindly, repeating ineffective actions. With reflection, you evolve every week. Think of a pilot flying long distance. They don't set the direction once and forget it. They constantly check the dashboard, correct the course, and adapt to wind and weather. That's how they reach the destination. Your goals work the same way. To make this a habit, schedule it. Put weekly review in your calendar as a recurring event. Treat it as seriously as a meeting with your boss. Make it enjoyable. Play calm music, brew a cup of tea, sit somewhere quiet. The goal is to make reflection something you look forward to, not a chore. Over time, you will begin to notice patterns. You will see, for example, 3 weeks ago I couldn't handle this task, now I can. Every time I skip sleep, my productivity crashes. Focusing on one key task per day gives me the best results. Awareness like that changes everything. It turns your work from unconscious effort into deliberate improvement. Now let's connect the 4 steps into one complete system. Clarify your goal. Know where you're going. Identify leverage. Know what matters most. Design rest. Protect your energy. Review weekly. Learn and adjust. These 4 form a cycle. Clarity gives direction. Leverage gives speed. Rest gives stamina. Reflection gives course correction. Repeat this cycle, and progress becomes automatic. Imagine 2 people starting from the same point. One works harder every day, adding more hours, chasing every opportunity, burning out halfway. The other follows this system. Clear goal, smart leverage, scheduled rest, weekly reflection. After 1 year, the second person achieves more, feels calmer, and still has energy for life outside of work. The difference isn't talent, it's system design. When you start applying these 4 steps, you will notice subtle but powerful shifts. You will begin each day knowing exactly what to do. You will finish tasks with energy instead of exhaustion. You will sleep better, think clearer, and feel a growing sense of control. Most importantly, you will realize that success doesn't require chaos. It requires clarity, leverage, balance, and reflection. So before you rush into another busy week, pause for a moment, take out your notebook, write your true goal, identify your leverage point, schedule your rest, and commit to reviewing every week. That's not just working harder, that's working smart for life. 4. What success means. You've learned how to work smart instead of just hard. It's time to look deeper. Because working smart is not only about productivity, it's about purpose. It's about understanding what you're really chasing. Soar its pause and ask an even bigger question. What does success actually mean? We can answer the question, what success means, right? Let me say it again. Success isn't about working harder, it is about working right. Many people believe that success means endless hustle, working 16 hours a day, sleeping 4, sacrificing rest, health, and relationships to make it. We see it everywhere. The glorified image of the person who never stops, who drinks coffee at midnight, who says no to friends because there's always more work to do. We are taught to admire exhaustion. But that image of success is not only wrong, it is dangerous. The truth is, the most successful people in the world are not necessarily the ones who work the longest hours. They are the ones who know what truly matters, who focus on the right things, and who understand that rest and recovery are part of the process, not signs of weakness. They are selective with their time and energy. They know when to push and when to pause. Real success doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from clarity, discipline, and balance. Smart people rest strategically so they can think clearly. We often think success means accumulating more hours, more tasks, more money, and more recognition, but success built on exhaustion is fragile. You might earn a promotion or buy a bigger house, but if you lose your health, your relationships, and your sense of joy along the way, what's the point? So here's a question worth asking. If your success costs your peace of mind, your health, and your relationships, is it still success? Imagine a person who achieves everything the world tells them to chase: wealth, status, respect. They work tirelessly for years and finally reach the top. Everyone admires them, but they feel empty inside. Their health is declining because they never made time to rest or exercise. Their friendships have faded because they were always too busy. They come home to a quiet house, sit in front of a screen, and wonder why it doesn't feel like victory. So ask yourself again, is that person truly successful? Or did they just trade their life for a title and a bank balance? True success is not just about external achievements. It's about staying true to yourself and focusing on what really matters without losing who you are along the way. Another question worth reflecting on is this. If hard work makes you lose your sense of joy, are you sure you're going in the right direction? Some people begin their journey with passion. They love what they do. They feel creative, alive, and full of purpose. But over time, they fall into the trap of endless busyness. What once felt exciting now feels heavy. Every task becomes an obligation. Every day becomes a countdown until the weekend. They're still working hard, but something important is missing: their heart. If your hard work is killing your passion, something needs to change. Working hard should make you stronger, not emptier. Real success looks different. It's not about how much you do, but how aligned you are with what you do. It's when you wake up most days feeling excited about your life. It is not necessarily every day, because everyone has bad day, but most days you feel a quiet sense of purpose. It's when you make steady progress toward things that truly matter to you, not just what society expects. It's when you have time for people you love, to share meals, conversations, and laughter. It's when you take care of your body because you understand that energy is your real currency. It's when you end the day feeling proud of the effort you gave, not because you did everything, but because you did the right things. You don't need to move faster, you need to move smarter. And sometimes moving smarter means stopping. Stopping to breathe, to reflect, to realign. Because the goal isn't just to build a life that looks successful from the outside. It is to build one that feels successful on the inside. Here's my challenge for you. For the next 6 months, try working less but thinking more, and see how your life changes. Don't fill every hour with tasks just to feel productive. Don't say yes to everything that comes your way. And don't work on weekends just because you feel guilty for resting. Instead, spend 30 minutes each week planning and reflecting. Choose 1 or 2 main goals and focus your energy there. Learn to say no to things that don't align with your direction. Rest without guilt, knowing that recovery is part of progress. And then watch what happens. You might be surprised. When you stop running in circles, you finally start moving forward. Real growth doesn't come from endless motion. It comes from intentional movement. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this message today. Your support means a lot and helps this channel grow. I will see you in the next video.